Chapter 2, Lesson 3, Biomes. After this lesson, we'll be able to name the 6 major biomes found on Earth. My Planet Diary. That's super cool! Misconception. It is always fatal when body temperatures drop below freezing. Fact. In the tundra, Arctic ground squirrels hibernate up to 8 months a year. During this time, a squirrel's body temperature drops below freezing. This is called supercooling and gives the squirrel the lowest body temperature of any mammal. Without waking, a squirrel will shiver for several hours every couple of weeks to increase its body temperature. What do you think are the advantages of supercooling? Well, one thought you might have would be supercooling allows an organism to use minimal energy during the winter so that it doesn't have to wake up and eat food. What are the 6 major biomes? Imagine that you are taking part in an around-the-world scientific expedition. On this expedition, you will collect data on the typical climate and organisms of each of Earth's biomes. A biome is a group of ecosystems with similar climates and organisms. The 6 major biomes are desert, rainforest, grassland, deciduous forest, boreal forest, and tundra. It is mostly the climate, the average annual temperature and amount of precipitation in an area that determines its biome. Climate limits the species of plants that can grow in an area. In turn, the species of plants determine the kind of animals that live there. The first stop on your expedition is a desert. You step off the bus into the searing heat. A desert is an area that receives less than 25 centimeters of rain per year. Some of the driest deserts may not receive any precipitation in a year. Deserts often undergo large shifts in temperature during the course of a day. A scorching hot desert, like the Namib Desert in Africa, cools rapidly each night when the sun goes down. Other deserts, such as the Gobi in Central Asia, have a yearly average temperature that is below freezing. Organisms that live in the desert, like the fennec in Figure 1, must adapt to little or no rain and to extreme temperatures. For an example, the stem of a saguaro cactus has folds that are similar to the pleats in an accordion. The stem expands to store water when it is raining. Gila monsters can spend weeks at a time in their cool underground burrows. Many other desert animals are most active at night when the temperatures are cooler. So only thing you gotta know about a desert, it does not have to be hot all day, every day. It just means that you get almost no precipitation or no precipitation the whole year. So Figure 1 says organisms must be adapted to live in the desert. Number 1, how do you think the fennec's ears and fur are adaptations to the desert's extreme temperatures? So down at the bottom, we've got this little fox and dog thing pushed together to make a fennec. What do you think about the ears and the fur being adaptations to help survive extreme temperatures? Well, probably the ears that are super big can help get off extra heat, but the fur itself can keep it warm so when it gets super cold. Number 2 says write 5 things you'll need to be well adapted to desert conditions. Pack carefully. They say, oh, you're probably gonna need a wide-brimmed hat. Say cool. I'd probably bring some sunblock. Maybe some water, like a lot of water. Sometimes when the desert gets cold, I'm probably going to want to have a sweater or a parka, some kind of warm jacket to keep me warm at night, but cool during the day. Maybe a tank top. Did I say sunblock? Definitely sunblock. I'm gonna turn into a lobster if I don't have sunblock. The second stop on your expedition is a rainforest. Rainforests are forests in which large amounts of rain fall year-round. This biome lives up to its name. It's pouring. After a short shower, the sun reappears. However, very little sunlight reaches the ground. Plants are everywhere in the rainforest. Some plants, like vines hanging from tree limbs, even grow on other plants. And animals are flying, creeping, and slithering all around you. Temperate rainforests. You may think that a rainforest is a warm, humid jungle in the tropics, but there is another type of rainforest. The Pacific Northwest of the United States receives more than 300 centimeters of rain a year. Huge trees grow there, including redwoods, cedars, and firs. Many ecologists refer to this ecosystem as a temperate rainforest. The term temperate means having moderate temperatures. So we can see this map down here it shows, let me zoom in. Whoa, that's a lot of zoom. All right, technical difficulties aside, we can see our tropical rainforests in the green kind of all around the equator area. We know the equator area is going to be like probably more humid and hot because it's at the equator, and that's usually what that means. But we also have this section right up here, and that's like Oregon into Canada, into Wisconsin area. Or Washington, area. That's our temperate rainforest. So that's the spot that gets a lot of rain and has a lot of trees, but it has moderate temperatures. So like, think about if you've seen the movie Twilight. That's the area she's in. Raining all day, every day, most of the time, but still like 60 degrees the whole time. Here we've got tropical rainforests. This is the bit in green on our map from before. As you can see on the map from before, tropical rainforests are found in regions close to the equator. The climate is warm and humid all year long, and there is a lot of rain. Because of these climate conditions, an amazing variety of plants grow in tropical rainforests. Trees in the rainforest form several distinct layers. The tallest layer of the rainforest, which receives the most sunlight and can reach up to 70 meters, is the emergent layer. Underneath, trees up to 50 meters tall form a leafy roof called the canopy. Below the canopy, a layer of shorter trees and vines, around 15 meters high, form an understory. Understory plants grow well in the shade formed by the canopy. The forest floor is nearly dark, so only a few plants live there. Look at the tree layers in Figure 3 in a second. The abundant plant life in tropical forests provide habitats for many species of animals. Ecologists estimate that millions of species of insects live in tropical rainforests. These insects serve as a source of food for many reptiles, birds, and mammals. Many of these animals, in turn, are food sources for other animals. Although tropical rainforests cover only a small part of the planet, they probably contain more species of plants and animals than all the other biomes combined. Tropical rainforests. On the edge of this tropical rainforest, an amazing variety of organisms can be found in the different layers. They want us to label the 4 distinct layers of the tropical rainforest in the boxes above. Well, remember, the tallest of all of the trees that can grow up to 70 meters is called the emergent. Whoops, that doesn't look like an M at all. Okay, good enough. Emergent. Definitely looks like what I meant to write. The emergent layer. Right below that, trees growing up to 50 meters tall is called the canopy. And below the canopy, growing up to 15 meters, is called the understory. Understory. Okay, writing's fine today, I guess. And then, what's left is the forest floor. Hopefully you can read that, terrible chicken scratch. But that's the layers of our trees in a tropical rainforest. We would probably be standing somewhere down here and looking up and seeing trees upon trees upon trees. And if you're in the thick of this forest, you're going to be surrounded by all these little bugs. They're going to be swatting away all the time. It's like the typical when you're watching a movie and they're in a jungle of some sort. They're usually ending up in a tropical rainforest. Grassland biomes. This is our third stop on the expedition. It's a grassy plain called a prairie. Temperatures are more comfortable here than they were in the desert. The breeze carries the scent of soil warmed by the sun. This rich soil supports grasses as tall as you. Startled by your approach, sparrows dart into hiding places among the waving grass stems. Although the prairie receives more rain than a desert, you might notice only a few scattered areas of trees and shrubs. Ecologists classify prairies, which are generally found in the middle latitudes, as grasslands. A grassland is an area that is populated mostly by grasses and other non-woody plants. Most grasslands receive 25 to 75 centimeters of rain each year. Fires and droughts are common in this biome. Grasslands that are located closer to the equator than the prairies are known as savannas. A savanna receives as much as 120 centimeters of rain each year. Scattered shrubs and small trees grow on savannas, along with grass. Grasslands are home to many of the largest animals on Earth. Herbivores such as elephants, bison, antelopes, zebras, giraffes, kangaroos, and rhinoceroses. Grazing by these large herbivores maintains the grassland. Their grazing keeps young trees and bushes from sprouting and competing with the grass for water and sunlight. You can see some grassland birds in Figure 4. So we have 3 different birds. We have the rhea in South America, the cassowary in Australia, and the ostrich in Africa. These are grassland birds that live on different continents. They want you to interpret the maps. Okay, on the world map, identify the continents in which these 3 birds are located. Okay, so the rhea in South America, we're labeling letter A. Well, we know that letter A, South America, is down here. Letter B is a cassowary in Australia, and we know Australia is here. And then letter C is for our ostrich, who lives in Africa, and that is here. List 3 characteristics that these grassland birds all share. Well, just by looking at them, I can see you've got a long neck, you've got a long neck, you've got a long neck. They also seem to have very long legs and very large bodies. I could practically draw one right here. Do. That's an ostrich, or maybe a rhea, or maybe a cassowary, or maybe just some sticks. Okay, I'll stop drawing now. Your trip to the 4th biome takes you to another forest. It is now late summer. Cool mornings here give way to warm days. Several members of the expedition are busy recording the numerous plant species. Others are looking through binoculars trying to identify the songbirds. You are now visiting a deciduous forest biome. Many of the trees in this forest are deciduous trees that shed their leaves and grow new ones each year. Oaks and maples are examples of deciduous trees. Deciduous forests receive enough rain to support the growth of trees and other plants, at least 50 centimeters of rain per year. Temperatures can vary greatly during the year. The growing season usually lasts 5 to 6 months. The variety of plants in a deciduous forest creates many different habitats. Many species of birds live in different parts of the forest, eating the insects and fruits in their specific areas. Mammals such as chipmunks and skunks live in deciduous forests. In a North American deciduous forest, you might also see wood thrushes and white-tailed deer. If you were to return to this biome in the winter, you would not see much wildlife. Many of the bird species migrate or fly great distances to warmer areas. Some of the mammals hibernate or enter a state of greatly reduced body activity similar to sleep. Look at Figure 5. During the winter months, animals that hibernate get energy from fat stored in their bodies. As we're looking at this, we can see this kind of reminds us of home, right? The winter time is cold, we don't have many animals. The summertime, you've got a lot of birds. We live in Michigan in a temperate forest biome, so it's a temperate temperature. Or it's also called the Eastern Deciduous Forest. So that's where we live. Did you know that? How far would you be willing to migrate? The bobolink has one of the longest songbird migration routes. The bird travels south from southern Canada and the northern United States to northern Argentina. This migration route is approximately 20,000 kilometers round trip. This bro is going, he's coming from up here. Wait, can I draw? Can you let me draw? He's coming from up here and he's going all the way down to here. That for sure is a long trip. In Figure 5, it says, most of the trees in a deciduous forest have leaves that change color and drop to the forest floor each autumn. Reminds me of home. In the leaves, this dormouse hibernates through the winter. Here we go, here's our dormouse. In fur, is hibernation an adaptation to life in a deciduous forest? Well, I'd say yeah. Or just why in some lines. Hibernation's an adaptation because it allows organisms to survive the winter months. So we don't see many squirrels and mice and things in the winter months because they are hibernating. Next up, we've got our boreal forest biomes. Now, the expedition heads north to a colder biome, the boreal forest. The term boreal means northern, and boreal forests are dense forests found in the upper regions of the northern hemisphere. The expedition leaders claim they can identify a boreal forest by its smell. When you arrive, you catch a whiff of the spruce and fir trees that blanket the hillsides. Feeling the chilly early fall air, you pull a jacket and hat out of your bag. Most of the trees in boreal forests are coniferous trees. Trees that produce their seeds in cones and have leaves shaped like needles. The boreal forest is sometimes referred to by its Russian name, the taiga. Winters in these forests are very cold. The snow can reach heights well over your head. Even so, summers are rainy and warm enough to melt all the snow. Tree species in the boreal forest are well adapted to the cold Tree species in the boreal forest are well adapted to the cold climate. Since water is frozen for much of the year, trees must have adaptations that prevent water loss. Coniferous trees such as firs and hemlocks all have thick, waxy needles that prevent water from evaporating. Many of the animals of the boreal forest eat the seeds produced by the coniferous trees. These animals include red squirrels, insects, and birds such as finches. Some herbivores, such as moose and beavers, eat tree bark and new shoots. The variety of herbivores in the boreal forest supports many predators, including lynx, otters, and great horned owls. Figure 6 shows an herbivore and its predator. So we've got a lynx and a snowshoe hare adapted to life in the boreal forest. We can see the kind of feet that this lynx has, kind of like claw-like. And we've got the feet of a little snowshoe hare. Look at the little bunny feet. Looks kind of big, actually, like you can thump away. So the feet of each animal are an adaptation to what? Its food, its climate, its predators. Well, all of them. The feet of each animal are larger than normal, both the lynx and the hare. So the large feet allow each animal to run across the snow to get food or to escape predators. They've also got a lot of fur on their bodies to help keep feet warm in cold climates. Because you can imagine putting your hand and walking, barefoot on snow is not going to be super fun. As you arrive at your last stop, the driving wind gives you an immediate feel for this biome. The tundra is extremely cold and dry. Expecting deep snow, many are surprised to learn that the tundra may receive no more precipitation than a desert. Most of the soil in the tundra is frozen all year. This frozen soil is called permafrost. During the short summer, the top layer of soil thaws, but the underlying soil remains frozen. Because rainwater cannot soak into the permafrost, shallow ponds and marshy areas appear in the summer. Mosses, grasses, and dwarf forms of a few trees can be found in the tundra. Most of the plant growth takes place during the long days of the short summer season. North of the Arctic Circle, the sun does not set during midsummer. In summer, the insects are abundant. Insect-eating birds take advantage of the plentiful food by eating as much as they can. But when winter approaches, these birds migrate south. Mammals of the tundra include caribou, foxes, and wolves. The mammals that remain on the tundra during the winter grow thick fur coats. What can these animals find to eat on the tundra in the winter? Well, the caribou scrape snow away to find lichens. The wolves follow the caribou and look up for weak members of the herd to prey upon. So why do you think that there are no tall trees on the tundra? Well, we know that the tundra does not get a lot of precipitation. It doesn't rain or snow that much the whole year. So trees might not be super tall because there's a lack of water that helps them grow tall. But also, the tundra has a short growing season, so the trees might not actually get enough sunlight or photosynthesize and grow tall. They're just gonna be little short babies. Some land areas are not classified as biomes. Recall that biomes are defined by abiotic factors such as climate and soil, and by biotic factors such as plant and animal life. Because the organisms that live in these areas vary, mountain ranges and land covered with thick ice sheets are not considered biomes. The climate of a mountain changes from its base to its summit. If you were to hike all the way up a tall mountain, you would pass through a series of biomes. At the base, you might find grasslands, but as you climbed, you might pass through deciduous forests and then boreal forests. As you near the top, your surroundings would resemble the cold, dry tundra. Other places are covered year-round with thick ice sheets. Most of Greenland and Antarctica fall into this category. Organisms that are adapted to life on ice include leopard seals and polar bears. Do the math! biome climates. An ecologist collected climate data from 2 locations. The graph shows the monthly average temperatures in the 2 locations. The total yearly precipitation in location A is 250 centimeters. In location B, the total yearly precipitation is 14 centimeters. Read graphs. Provide a title for the graph, and what variable is plotted on the horizontal and vertical axes. Okay. Well, our title could be something simple like average monthly temperatures. We don't need to get creative. What variable is plotted on the horizontal axis? Well, that would be the one going this way. So we're graphing the month. So H equals month. And our vertical axis equals temp. And our temperature is in Celsius, so degrees Celsius. Number 2 says, study the graph. How would you describe the temperature over the course of the year in location A and in location B? Well, we can see A is the one in the red, and it's kind of pretty steady the whole year. It doesn't really dip that much. So the temperature over the course of a year in location A is pretty steady. You're gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna get like 30 degrees pretty much the whole year. 30 degrees Celsius pretty much the whole year. But in location B, well, it's going up and then it peaks and then it comes down. It's rising and falling. It's changing month by month. So it gets warmer, super, super hot, and then it gets back to being cold. Given precipitation and temperature data from these locations, in which biome would you expect each to be located? So letter A, well, letter A, it says we get 250 centimeters of precipitation a year. So someplace that has a lot of rain, and someplace that has a steady temperature at about 30 degrees Celsius. The place that fits both of those would most likely be a tropical rainforest. So this is probably maybe the Amazon area, Amazon rainforest. Location B, it gets 14 centimeters of rain a year, so not that much. And the temperature, it varies month by month. So most likely this is going to end up being a desert. Not a lot of rain, can get super hot and super cold. Alright, apply it! Using the colors shown in the biome maps throughout this lesson, color in the key above. Use the key to color in the areas on the map of North America. So I just went back and I color coded everything. So now we have to look at this map of North America and color code it. So first off, we have desert. Desert is orange. There's not really many desert areas in North America. We know that there's like a little strip like right there. That's about it. The next bit is temperate rainforest, which is purple. And remember, they definitely said that this area around here in the Pacific Northwest is a temperate rainforest, like Twilight, remember that. We also have tropical rainforest. That's our dark green area. So that's going to be like the rest of this area here. I'm so good at coloring. This is great. This is great. We also have our grasslands. Our grasslands are like this area. Boop. Thanks, Mexico. Next, we have our deciduous rainforest. So that's our brown area. That's over here. That's us. We also have our boreal forest. That is blue. And that's up here. That's most of Canada. And we have our tundra. And our tundra is super way up high. That's like this area here. Boom, color coded it, done. Number 2 says, where are most of the boreal forests located? And why are there no boreal forests in the southern hemisphere? So we're looking at the blue, that's up in Canada area. So they're located far from equator. Is that spelled right? Yeah, okay. In cold climates. There's none in the southern hemisphere because there's not enough land at the appropriate latitudes. So not enough land. Number 3 says, mark the area in which you live with an X on the map. Well, okay. Boom. That's us. What's the climate like where you live? How do you think your climate affects which organisms live there? We are in the deciduous rainforest. So if anybody says, you ever been to a rainforest? Yeah, you live in one. It's just not what you think. How do you think your climate affects which organisms live there? Well, some of our animals are going to have to hibernate or fly south to warmer climates during the year. We got a lot of birds. We got a lot of trees. Yeah, that's about it. A lot of birds, a lot of trees, a lot of deer. Especially in Michigan. We got a lot of deer in Michigan. So that is it for chapter 2. I will see you next week when we start chapter 3. Goodbye!